Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start Mary, and I've got James here to help me for the first ride. I usually like to have a helper for at least the first 2 rides. So I've already lunged him and warmed him up and did some body work and stuff with him, and then I had James lunge him to make sure that they were communicating together pretty well. And now I'm just going to check in with his bit one more time. Good boy. And I'm just going to hop up and down on him. I'm not going to get on him yet. I don't expect there to really be an issue, but it's always good to take things as slow as you can. Good boy. And I have backed him so many times and had the saddle on him so many times, and he was so good with when we did the tarp and all that kind of stuff, and he's just really is not a nervous, spooky kind of horse. So I'm really not concerned about him at all. But it's always better to be safer about things, because you can teach a horse to be explosive just as easily as you can teach them not to be from the beginning. And so I don't like to push a horse to the point that they explode, because then it just teaches them that they can't explode. And check my cinch one more time. There we go, good. And I already disengaged the hindquarters before and stuff, so I always check in with those sorts of things. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get on. James, go ahead and come a little bit closer so you've got a little better hold of him now, because this will be the first time I'll be swinging my leg over. And then once I get on, I'm just going to settle and sit there for a moment and pet on him and stuff. And then I'm just going to have you lead me around. Depending on how that goes, I may have you send me out on the lunge line, but we're going to wait and see, and we'll just take it in stride. Good boy. Good boy. Good. And he had actually, with his previous owner, he'd had a rider on him twice, just sat on him and led around. And like I said, I've saddled him and backed him so many times. I think that we can really kind of progress with him a little bit today. For a horse that's never ever had a rider on, I'll usually just be led around the first time, and then the next time have my handler lunge. But because, like I said, he's already had a rider sat on him and I've done so much prep work with him, I think that we're going to go ahead and be able to lunge him a little bit. But we'll wait and see and just take it easy. All right. Go ahead and just lead him around a little.
Let some slack.
Yeah. Yep. And James's job is, if he gets nervous or tries to run off or is a little bucky or anything silly like that, James's job is to pull him around. And he'll reel him in with that lunge line and pull him around for me. Good boy. Okay, now go ahead into the middle, and he's real relaxed, and he's even licking and chewing. So go ahead and just go ahead and send him out on a small circle. Oh, there you go. And remember to use as little amount of aids as possible, because you want to try to keep him super, super calm. Good boy. Go ahead and lower your whip a little bit. There you go. Good boy. Good job. Okay, now what I'm going to have you do, go ahead and switch hands very subtly. There you go. And I'm going to turn him this way and see how he'll listen to the bit a little bit. Good boy. Good. Now remember how your lunge line's supposed to go. Good boy. Good. Okay, go ahead and switch hands and really lower your whip, because I'm going to turn him in towards you. There you go. Good boy. And I like that he's not, yeah, you always want to change your whip under the lunge line, not over it. I really like, because I'm able to just play with putting a little bit of leg on him, and he's not reacting to it at all, which is nice, because sometimes you get on and they're okay with the weight, but when that, pressure with the leg is kind of a new sensation to them, and so they get a little bit bothered about it, but he's not at all. There you go, good boy. Okay, go ahead and switch hands again, and I'm going to turn him towards you again. And just take a few steps back. There we go. Good boy, good job. Okay, go ahead and keep him in this size circle. And fix your lunge line so that you're able to reel him in if you need to. So put all the slack in your right hand.
Oh,
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, now if you need to reel him in, you can drop the whip and reel him in. Good. Because we're gonna trot just a little bit. You can let him out ever so slightly. There we go. We're gonna ask him to trot, and if he starts going, real fast, or like he's gonna kind of run off, or like he's getting a little nervous, or starts kind of hopping around or anything like that, you just reel him in. Now you're lunging him, and I'm just along for the ride, okay? Good boy. Good. Yeah. Good boy. Now, even though I'm along for the ride, I still have my reins choked up plenty, so in case I need to try to stop him if he starts acting stupid, I can do so. But I don't think that's going to happen. There you go. Good boy. Because he's staying real calm, so that's what we like. Fine, fine, really nice.
No, I'm probably too heavy to ride at this point.
No, you could ride him. Okay, so let's go ahead and actually change directions. And we'll trot a little bit to the other side. What a good boy. And I'm impressed for being his first actual ride. He actually is responding to my aids pretty well when I have him turn off the bit or I put a little leg on him. Good boy. But yeah, he's got a real nice trot. Which is funny because from the ground it looks kind of a little bouncy, but it's not at all. It's very nice. I can be my little Western dressage horse. And we just go a few circles around. Good boy. There you go. Good boy. And he actually feels very balanced, which a lot of times, even if you've got a horse balanced real well on the lunge line, then you go and put the rider's weight on them, and they want to really throw in on that inside shoulder. Go ahead and let him walk. Walk. Yeah, it's all right. Walk. Walk. Good boy. Good job. But yeah, a lot of times you get on them, and then you start to put on a little, speed. You go trot or canter for the first time. And they just are absolutely terrible. I mean, it's almost as scary because the horse feels like they're just going to have their feet fly out from underneath them because they're not sure where to put the weight of the rider, and so they'd lean in on that inside shoulder so much. But he felt very balanced, so I'm really pleased with him. But part of that too is the fact that he's 4 years old now this year and is just now getting started, which is preferable. Really, if you can wait till 3 to start a horse, that's the best thing for him because they're just, they're grown up more. It's the most of the time you have that problem when you've got a 2 or 3 year old that somebody wants to start and they're just not quite. It's like a 13-year-old kid, where they're growing, so they just really don't know, where their feet and stuff are. So I'm going to go ahead and ask him to stop and see if he'll listen just to my cues and stop. Ooh. Ooh. Good boy. So he kind of turned in a little bit, but he stopped for me anyway. Good boy. So go ahead and drop the whip and go ahead and come up to him and reel your line in a bit. And I'm just going to have you hold him while I dismount, because usually if there's any time that they're going to get a little nervous, it's going to be when you go to dismount or get on or get off, because that's when you're kind of swinging over him. So before I dismount, I don't want to surprise him. I'm going to kind of wiggle around in my saddle a little bit so he knows something's going on, and I'm going to tip his nose to the left towards the side I'm going to get off on. And then I'm going to put a little more weight in this left stirrup and then go ahead and jump off of him. What a good boy. Good job. So you really could not have asked for a better first ride. Good boy. Good job. Good. So I'll probably do this with having somebody lunging him at least one more time before I start breaking out on my own, because I like him to really build his confidence up with the weight and and just, you know, having the rider up there on him before I start to really kind of break out on my own and start asking him to do stuff. But he was listening to my cues pretty well, and he wasn't at all concerned about it. So I think one more time of this lunging session, and then I think he's going to be good to go. Okay, now we're going to put the first ride on Pippin, just the same like what we did with Mary. And so we've already lunged him some around, and now I'm just going to check in with the bit. Good boy. And I'm going to disengage the hindquarters to both sides. There you go. Good boy. Good job. Good. There. Good boy. Good job. Okay, so we'll go ahead and bring him into the center a little bit. And I'm going to have you hold him, James, and I'm going to back him on both sides a little bit. You can go ahead and put the whip down, because I'm going to have you lead me around a little bit first before you start sending him out on a lunge line. And we may not do as much with him as we did with Mary, because has actually never had a butt in the saddle, whereas Mary had been led around with a rider on like twice, I think, before. So Pippin has never had someone actually sit in the saddle. I've done a ton of backing, and he's worked a whole bunch with the saddle, so it shouldn't be any issue, but we'll just see what he's comfortable with. Good boy. Okay, so go ahead and come onto the same side here. Good boy. And I'm going to go ahead, check my cinch one more time. Yeah, we're good. And then this time I'm going to stand up on him and jiggle around for a minute, and then I'll go ahead and swing my leg over. Good boy. Good job. Good boy. Good boy. Good job. Okay, so James, I'm going to have you just lead him around for a minute and keep him a little closer. That's a little too much slack. You want to really have control of him right now. Good boy. And he's kind of looking a little unsure, but he's doing fine. And we do have a cavesson on him, and we did on Mary last night too. And that's under the bridle. Depending on how your cavesson fits and how your bridle fits, sometimes you may put the bridle over top of the cavesson, or sometimes it may go underneath. It's going to depend, like I said, on how they both fit your horse and what is going to work the best. But I like to have the cavesson on them when I'm doing, this kind of work right at the beginning, because it really gives my handler that little bit of extra control to pull him around if we need to. Good boy. Okay, so now go ahead into the middle, and you can go ahead and pick up your whip and just send him out, just only at a walk. There you go. There you go, good boy. You can let him out a little bit more line. There we go. He's just a little unsure of himself, and we're just going to encourage him and build his confidence up a bit. Good boy. Now, right there was no reason to tap the whip with the whip, because he was already walking forward fine. So go ahead and encourage him forward now. But if he's walking fine, then you don't need to use the whip any more than you have to, because we just want to keep him walking. Good boy. Okay, so go ahead and switch hands, and I'm going to turn him towards you. Good boy. Good. Good job. And it's real windy and we've got a lot of tarps blowing around here, so he's actually doing pretty good. So go ahead and just ask him forward at a walk a little bit. Good. Good boy. Good, now he's relaxed a little. Okay, go ahead and switch hands with your whip and lunge line, and I'm going to turn him towards you again. Good boy. Good. Good boy. Good job. Okay, go ahead and switch hands. Good boy. Now I'm going to go ahead and take a breath and ask him to stop and see if he'll stop off of my cues. Ooh. I put a little pressure on the bit and I'm just going to hold steady. Ooh. Good boy. Good. Good boy. Good. Okay, now I'm going to ask him to walk forward and I'm just going to kiss to him and put a little leg on. Good. That's why I really love to use vocal cues lunging, because then when you go to get on, stuff makes sense to them. They've never, obviously, don't understand the cues of the leg before you've ridden them, because there really isn't any way to accurately synthesize that, so to speak. And so when you have the verbal cues, like whoa and kissing to walk and those sorts of things, then it kind of is that missing puzzle piece a little bit that kind of helps them connect the dots and understand what you're asking. Good boy. Okay, go ahead and switch hands with your whip and I'm going to turn towards you. Good boy. Good job. Good boy. There you go. Good job. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and ask him to stop again off of my cues. Ooh. Good. Good job. Good boy. Okay, then I'm going to ask him to walk. So go ahead and back me up and tap the ground with the whip a little bit. Good. And he's not really understanding that he needs to stay on the circle. He's wanting to just tip his nose in with the cavesson. There we go. Good boy. Good. So I'm trying to use a little bit of outside rein, not to really be controlling him just yet, but trying to use a little bit of outside rein just to help him stay on the circle and not want to just turn into to James here because of the cavesson. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and ask him to stop again. Ooh. Ooh. Good boy. Good job. Good boy. Okay, then I'm going to walk him forward. Good. Good boy. Okay, go ahead and switch hands and I'll change directions towards you one more time. Good. Now take a step backwards. Always remember before you go sideways. Good boy. Okay, now I'm going to take a breath and ask him to stop again. Ooh. Good. So even though he didn't stop straight, it doesn't really matter at this point. Good boy. Okay, go ahead and drop your whip, and you can reel your line up and go ahead and hold him at his head. Good boy. And I'm going to tip his nose a little bit to the left and kind of rock in my saddle again and kind of bump my stirrup on him just a little bit. And then I'll put some more weight in that left stirrup so he's ready. And just gently swing off. Good boy. What a good job you did. So probably next time, because he did pretty good with it, but again, I don't like to really push them. I like them to be really comfortable at a certain level before I take them to the next level. And so even though he did fine and he didn't do anything wrong, I just want him to be really comfortable at the walk before we push him into a trot. But I would predict that probably our next ride on him, we can probably trot him around on the lunge line. And then maybe on the third or fourth ride, depending on where he's at with it, maybe then I'll start to break out on my own. Good boy. Okay, so we'll start on this side and just make sure to turn her on the same side that I'm on. So just in case if I do have to jump off, I don't get trampled at the same time. Yeah. Okay, just walk her, since I tighten her cinch, just walk her a few steps forward. Good girl. Yeah, good job. Good girl. Okay, so go ahead and just walk around a little bit. Good girl. Good girl. So she's just getting used to the weight, which is why I do this and don't just jump on. There you go. Good girl. So just keep her in a circle to the left. And then as she gets more comfortable, then you can start to make the circle a little bit bigger. Good girl. Good job. There you go. Good job. Okay, you can go ahead and stop her. Good girl. Good job. Yeah, you can have a little piece of carrot. Good girl. Okay, it's the exact same thing on the other side. It doesn't matter. Because we're going to just be turned to the right anyway. Good girl. Good girl. Okay, go ahead. Good girl. Yeah. Good girl. Okay, go ahead and stop. Good job. What a good girl.
Just like her sweet treat.
Good job. Okay, so now I'm going to mount on this side, and I'm just going to stand in the stirrup for a minute and kind of prepare her for my leg swinging over. And I'm going to turn her head towards me so that if she starts to be a little bit silly, then at least we can keep her in a circle. Good girl. Good girl. Good job. Good job. Good job. Good girl. Okay, so what I'm going to do, go ahead and stay holding her, but she sees me in her left eye, and what I want to do before we walk off is tip her nose to the right, so to make sure that she sees that I'm also on her right side.
You want me to stay on this side?
I'm just gonna tip her nose, yeah. Hey. Good girl. Good job. Okay, so just walk her in a tight circle to the left. I should have adjusted these stirrups. But that's okay. Yeah, it's fine. Good girl.
Oops, sorry.
Yep, just keep asking her to walk around. Get a little more forward in your circle, I guess, if that makes sense. There you go. Good girl. Good. Good girl. And you can just keep making the circle bigger as you go around. Good girl. Good job. Okay, now go ahead and stop her and I'll have you switch sides. Good girl. Good job. And then just same thing to this side. A little bit of a tight circle at first and then you can move her bigger as she goes around. Good girl. And I'm not putting any leg on her yet. I just wanted to get used to the weight. Good girl. Oh, we're about to get attacked by tumbleweeds. There we go. That's the last thing we need right now.
Yeah, I don't know. Where's the camera falling?
Good girl. Okay, go ahead and stop her. Good girl. And then go ahead and come on over to this left side and I'm gonna get off. And so then that way, if she gets nervous about me getting off, then you can pull her head towards us. Good girl. Nicely done. What a good girl. Good job. Yeah, good job. Life's not so bad after all, is it? All right, good girl.